week 3 of ABA is here. I am post commentating this because, well, it was too late in the day to live commentate it when I played this game. My opponent this week is here. Most importantly on his team is the Terraberry Gambit, which is very scary in general. I have reasonable answers to it, and defensively, it's also kind of forced to deal with my Petra in this game, so no Terra until that happens. Other big ones are the Great Tusk. My defensive answers to it are Great Tusk and Bronzong and Go-Go, I guess. So not much, really. Raging Bolt is pretty strong. I don't have insane answers to it, but not too badly off against it either. Rillaboom, no. It really just doesn't really do anything against my draft, honestly. Like, it deals with Samurott, which doesn't have a good matchup here at all. And Great Tusk, which there are other mobs he has to deal with it, like the Alomola to Wish Pass and heal up defensive options like the Weezing, definitely going to come for Griffon. Hatterene can also come for Raging Bolt and Deoxys. Mega Charizard Y is also a pretty big offensive threat to my team, because Fire Resist is Raging Bolts. That's basically it. Last two mobs are Mousehold, which never comes against my team, honestly. There's no reason to bring it. And Upiter, Iller, and Sneaky Web. That's it, really, pretty much. Like, with Terra Water, it doesn't even have a Terra that type that matters, so yeah. Anyways, first thing I want to do is have an offensive win condition. Well, offensive breaker this game in Swordston and Sograpon, which, if the Gambit is out of the equation and rocks or some chip on the Weezing is gotten, then this pretty much wins if I get a Sword Stance up. It's a Headbutt for Weezing, Play Rough for Raging Bolt, and I don't need the extra power from Warhammer Power Up this week, so Ivy Cudgel is going to do the job. Next up is my Mega Charizard Y switch in, since I know that thing is going to come. Offensive Assault Vest this week, because I figured that would do the most against his team. It gets stopped pretty heavily by AV Hatterene, which looks reasonable here as a Deoxys Raging Bolt switch in. But aside from that, it does pretty well offensively in this game. Bulk is for Mega Charizard Y. The 4 defense improves a Great Tusk roll that I maybe live, I think. I don't remember. Rest and speed. Speaking of Great Tusk, here's my Great Tusk switch in. The last one I added to my team, actually. But covering it here because I think it fits more here, because Raging Bolt can easily Bolt Switch into my Hatterene switch in Wrong Song, and this is also my Great Tusk switch in, so it's probably getting pressured out of the game. Oh well. Things could probably go better with this defensively checking to Great Tusk and Hatterene, but it is what it is. Psychic Noise is something I really did want to stop the Alomola from getting wishes to the other team members. I don't think a Gambit will come in against me, because wrong song could be, body press. But, I mean, not but. So, the psychic noise will stop all of the opposing healing from Wish. Rock Surfer, Mega Charizard Y, really, that's basically it. And to get chip damage on Gambit, Heavy Slam is to deal with the Hatterene, because, well, even though I am minus attack, if it is not a Vizdeath Hatterene, if it's EV, Heavy Slam does a ton of damage. Like, basically fix it off kind of damage. Future Sight is just a filler last move. I don't think I needed anything, really. Anyways, Gambit is something that could take huge advantage of this, but Gambit will be the switch into Petron in this game, and I'm trying to curse it out of the game. Because why not, really? If Gambit isn't like Black Classes or Supreme Overlord, if it's the Defiant with like Lumberry that I think would come here, then again it wouldn't be Lumberry, it would be like Boots, Leftovers, or AV or something. Black Class is also possible, but like, whatever. The point is that if my Petron gets in at pretty much full health against a knockoff Gambit, let me see. Against knockoff Gambit, I will be able to take hits for a few turns, because turn 1 I mean look, turn 2 I curse, 1 turn of curse damage. This does not kill me. I get a recover up, but I'm at 50% going into this turn. I'm at 15% leaving this turn. I get to heal up over and over again if it's not Swords Dance, or if it's just one Supreme Overlord boost. And the Gambit should be gone. I think the situations I was calculating, the Gambit could maybe take me out on the turn it would die to curse if it uses Sword Stance on one of the turns. In that case, I just switch out into something like my Great Tusk. Oh, and yeah, because like this takes knockoff, not as well as I would like it to. It does damage, but it takes it pretty well. And my opponent's not going to predict and click Terra Blast after clicking Sword Stance. Not going to happen. Anyways, Malignant Chain is in case the Gambit does Terra, or in case Mousehold decides that it wants to attempt and fail to do something this game. Malignant Chain hits things. Yay. I don't need Shadow Ball, it's just too weak in this game. Like, it hits Great Tusk harder, and like, I don't hit that hard to begin with, so whatever. Oh, and 219 speed conveniently outspeeds Jolly Gambit by 1. It was just spare EVs that luckily worked out exactly correct. Anyways, next is my Great Tusk, which I have as speed boosting this week. Because why not, really? Well, the main reason is that it can threaten out Mega Charizard Y with a rock move. My rock move is Smackdown because there's a Weezing on the other side of the field, and if I get a smackdown into the wheezing, then with it on the ground, neutralizing gas not mattering here, it takes a ton of damage. Most likely my opponent will expect it to die, and they'll switch out. Heavy Slam is specifically for the Hatterene. If it's the Assault Vest set I'm expecting, then Heavy Slam Kinoko. Wow. And I don't expect it to be max HP. I'm expecting like max special attack, speed for no speed wrong song, and rest in bulk, pretty much. Anyways, this bulk is for Raging Bolt stuff, specifically for Draco without sunup, because it is, I think, the most efficient way to live no boosts in special attack, modest, Raging Bolt Draco Meteor from full. And I don't really expect I'll be switching this into Raging Bolt, but I figured that was a good benchmark to hit. What I do expect to be switching into Raging Bolt is this Mega Kangaskhan, which is max the def this time, and that's basically all I need. As the calc says here, I live 2 Dracos from the Raging Bolt with a photosynthesis boost, so in Sun, and I can heal it off. Docs are up, different story, but I don't particularly expect Docs to be up in this game. Secret Power. If the Rill Boom does come for some reason, if Grassy Terrain is up, Secret Power is a sleep chance of 51% per turn. If there's no Grassy Terrain or whatever thing up, then Secret Power is a 51% chance to get 1 paralysis each time I click it. So in other words, I'm favored to paralyze the opponent if I click Secret Power. Wish, Protect, for healing, of course, and last move is Facade in case I have to take on the wheezing 1 versus 1. I don't think I should, but yeah. Anyways, that is the team I am bringing to this game. The Oxus did look good here, but it didn't really fit with the team I was bringing at all, so let's get into the game. Oh, and you can see here the order of mons I expected, and I was correct. The first 6 mons I listed did come. That's good. Going into this, I am expecting the Great Tusk to lead mainly. So I lead with, like, there's other leads that could happen, like, realistically I think Hatterene won't lead, no reason for it to, but other mods could lead, I guess, but I'm expecting specifically the Great Tusk to lead, and I want to be very prepared for that, because none of my lead options are good against it, really, so I lead with my Ogre-Con. He leads Charizard, so I'm just going to switch out and into my Charizard switch-in. But my opponents, first off, reveals they're timid because they're faster. Modest Mega Charizard Y means it would be slower than my 306 speed Ogre-Con. Modest Mega Charizard Y can only be 299 speed at most. This doesn't really matter, but it's worth mentioning here. I didn't even notice this during the game. But like I said, I'm going to switch into my Raging Bolt because it's a Mega Charizard Y switch-in. I suppose he wanted to make sure I wasn't Rock Tomb, and this is the main defensive Ogre-Con switch-in. So going directly into it makes sense. Anyways, there's two possible Raging Bolt switch-ins. The Hatterene, which I think is AV, and it's probably the switch-in. Like, on paper, going for Volt Switch and predicting the Hatterene to come in makes no sense because what else is Hatterene doing in this game? Like, at all. It's the Raging Volt switch and there's nothing else for it to do unless it's physically defensive and switching into Great Tusk. The opposing Great Tusk is a major threat to my team though, and I really don't want to give it a switch in, so I go for Draco. And I get the 50-50 wrong. Oh well. I go for Volt Switch. This reveals to be bulky, max HP, and Assault Vest, pretty much. 27 is a low roll for Assault Vest, but it's still Assault Vest at the end of the day, so I'm going to go into my wrong song, and this reveals to be modest, max special attack, pretty much what I expected. So anyways, I expect the Hatterene to not stay in here, so I'm going to make a pretty bad play and click Rocks, predicting the switch out, because like, card can Gambit, I kind of don't care. I have a whole Great Tusk to switch into it. And hard Mega Charizard Y means that it's in range of my Great Tusk for sure. Hard Raging Bolt, I really don't care. Hard Tusk, not happening. Hard Wheezing, not happening. Like, realistically, I should have Heavy Slammed the first time. And also, something even more confusing is that the Hatterene is not speed creeping me at all. This was definitely a confusing turn for me in-game. I also messed up, realistically. Rocks on my side of the field for free is not good for me at all. But thankfully, my opponent just gives me the AV Hatterene. There's no Raging Bolt switching anymore. Yay. Anyways, here I'm just going to stay in case my opponent overpredicts and click Rocks. So my opponent didn't overpredict, so I get to go into my Raging Bolt now. Anyways, I live 2 Dragon Pulses from here pretty easily. Like you can see here, even if Rocks up, I guaranteed live. So at this point, there's no good Draco Meteor to switch in, so I'm going to go directly for that. Reason being is that, like, I don't really expect this to stay in, and even if it does stay in, it's a roll in my favor to take it out if I hit my Draco. So I'm just going to go for Draco, and thinking that he will switch out, but he decides to stay in and Dragon Pulse me, which is fine with me because I get the roll. That's good for me. Unfortunately, this is an attack based in Great Tusk. I have no switch in, so I'm just sacking this. And I go directly into Ogre Pond. And I have to Terrestrialize and go for Ivy Cudgel on the small chance that this is a Rindo Berry. And even if I just clicked and have that, like, the Great Tusk won't care to begin with, and I can't click Swords Dance because there's still a full health Kingambit that will not care. Anyways, that damage doesn't really tell me anything about Wheezing. It's just max physically defensive, as I expected it to be. No info other than that. And it's Black Sludge. No one likes Spinning Rocky Helmet against the 9 Mega Kangaskhan, it seems. Anyways, this seems like it's a good chance to get my Petra in and try to execute the Cursing Kingambit out of the game plan. So I'm going for Mean Look immediately because if this Wheezing stays in for some reason, it just dies. And yeah. Unfortunately, it's Cream Overlord and I die, which means either I got max rolled or it's black glasses. I think it was black glasses, but I never asked. Which means that I'm in a really bad position now because my game plan involved getting rid of this thing with Petulant. And I didn't get rid of it, to say the least. I got one curse turn. That's it. I can't really go into Great Tusk because all of that does is just get switched out on into Wheezing. I accomplished nothing other than getting a headlong rush. The Great Tusk after I have to click Smackdown on the Wheezing. It's like essentially going Great Tusk doesn't accomplish anything other than just being bad. Going Ogre Fawn makes less than no sense. I have to use Mega Kangaskhan here to try and put the... Realistically, what I'm trying to do here is put the Wheezing in range of Ogre Fawn so that I can take advantage of the Wheezing, and if the Kingambit decides to stay in, I get to fish for Para, I guess. Since I'm going for Secret Power, my only real attacking move here. I'm not clicking Facade when I'm not status, there's no point. To my surprise, my opponent decides to stay in Terra, which is not what I expected whatsoever, but it means I get over 25% with Secret Power damage and get to eat a Terra Blast, which is a very good turn for me because the Kingambit is now in range to die to a one curse turn, in range of Great Tusk easily, and paralyzed, so that if it does get saved, it only has a 75% chance of hitting a Sucker Punch against my own Ogre. Against my Ogre Fawn. Not my own Ogre Fawn, there's no Ogre. Anyways, I'm expecting a Sucker Punch here, so I'm just going to click Wish, as expected, as Kingambit goes down to the curse. I'm going to protect just to get my Kangaskhan up higher for the Raging Bolt that... I actually don't know why I did this. I should have just gone hard into Great Tusk, huh? I guess I should have. Scout the damage and get to be back up at full. It's not like I need this thing to be super healthy for the Wheezing, and Raging Bolt doesn't get to switch in anymore, realistically, unless Ogre Fawn clicks not Sword Stance on a switch out. I don't know why I actually projected here. This was not the correct play, thinking about it now. But I have a Kangaskhan at high health now to switch into the Raging Bolt that I don't need to switch into. As I saw earlier, this is an offensive Great Tusk. This doesn't reveal the nature, but it's pretty much max attack. So here I'm thinking I want to get damage on this thing with a Headlong Rush so that it might be in Mega Kangaskhan range. And also, there's the possibility my opponent goes hard Wheezing here. So I should be faster, so I can wait an extra turn for the close combat defense drop again to get more damage with Headlong Rush. So I'm going to go for Smackdown here, which catches the Wheezing, pretty good for me. And I get a free Headlong Rush here, and Raging Bolt gets given to me, which is perfect, essentially. Now I'm just going to Headlong Rush as I live Earthquake on a roll. I don't know what the roll was. If it was Adamant Great Tusk, it was not in my favor. If it was Jolly Great Tusk, it was in my favor, and based on it being faster than me, I'm thinking it's Choice Scarf now. So I get my chip damage. Pretty nice. Earthquake comes out, and I get to go into Ogre Pond. And I'm expecting the Weezing to come in here, so I just click Sword Stance, and Sin Headbutt lands, and that is the game. I don't think this went particularly well, because the turns early in the game with the realistically like the early game turns, like specifically this turn, if I clicked Volt Switch here, went into Wrong Song, then and if I clicked Heavy Slam here against this Hadrian, I would have had a full HP Wrong Song, would have been pretty nice for the Great Tusk. I would have been able to get Stealth Rock up, and I wouldn't have gotten Stealth Rock on my side of the field, most likely, which definitely made that Gambit harder to deal with. I definitely was fortunate for the Gambit to Terra against my Mega Kangaskhan and stay in while it was cursed, because I don't think I had a good way to take it out otherwise. Because realistically, it revealed Kotal Cleave, Terra Blast Fairy, and Sucker Punch. Last move was most likely Sword Stance, and that would have been able to get through my Mega Kangaskhan. I would have been able to force it to Terra at the cost of my Great Tusk, and then I just wouldn't be able to take it out, really, I would think. So yeah, week 5 is done. I am 5-0 now. I didn't upload last week because I wanted to post commentate it, and I got to have my mic on for the post commentary. Yeah. Really should have checked that because I wasn't using my showdown scene. Anyways, I'll leave a link to that week in the description. I was going to just scrap the live version, but I kept it. Not too great, but I have it. Anyways, next week I get to go against another 5-0 coach, and she is doing very well for herself with another Great Tusk, and also a Terra Ogrepon Wellspring, which is very good. She got potentially the best Terra captain. Anyways, I will be back for that some other day.